This is a 60-inch hickory bow. Well, I'm going to fire harden it. I'm not going to show you the fire hardening video because it's pointless. I have so many fire hardening videos. The reason I'm showing you this bow, it's only 60 inches, and I spent $120 on a prepared sinew that I'm going to put on this bow. And I might try something different with the sinew that I don't see anybody doing, just to experiment. But that's it. This is a 60-inch hickory bow that's going to be fire hardened, and it's going to be sinew backed. Good afternoon. It's really hot out today. I didn't think I was going to do anything today because it was just too hot. But it's the afternoon, and I got a little bored, and I figured I'd go out and just talk a little about my project that I'm working on. So this is a 60-inch tip-to-tip hickory bow because I've been doing this for like a year and a half now. And what I found out was that I had a bow that I wanted to have a little more weight after I made it, so I shortened it to 58 inches tip-to-tip. And this was early on when I first started making bows. I don't even remember if it was a board bow or a regular bow. And I pulled it back, and as I pulled it back, all of a sudden it like let off. It let off like a compound almost. And not quite, but you know what I mean. It went from heavy to like it let off, and I knew there was structural damage to the fibers of the bow, because what happened was I pushed the limits. I pushed the limits to where the cells, I guess, in the woods, the fibers collapsed, or, it just couldn't handle it. So I said, okay, from now on, I'm going to make bows that are, for me, with my 26.5-inch draw, never make a bow less than 64 inches for me. So I started playing around with recurves. You really get into it, so you try different things. So I played around with recurves, and the first recurve I made was an Osage bow early on, like one of the first bows I made. And it had big 7.5-inch radius curves. And as I started tillering it and pulling it down, I realized those big curves are just putting too much. Big curves are putting too much pressure on that section of limb here. So I cut them down shorter and was able to tiller it and take some weight off. And I still have it. It's a decent bow. So I went to different jigs trying to make different curves and all. And what I learned with the recurve was, if you take a pie plate and you take a wedge a quarter out of it and you put that radius on, regardless of 7 inches, 6 inches, whatever it is. I happen to have a jig that's 5.5-inch radius. That 1/4 inch for the jig is just too much. So I found like a happy medium for the recurve, which was a little more than an eighth of a pie, okay? And that's the bend I put on. And that slight bend, okay, on the tips, didn't overstress the limb, and it made a really fast, snappy bow. So there's a point between the stress on the limbs where it's acceptable, where you get performance and you don't put too much stress. It's a happy spot, okay? It's a good place to be. So now that I was looking at a lot of videos on, I rawhide back bows before, but I've been looking at the sinew. The sinew is kind of expensive. I'm going to have to get some from deer processors this year and let them dry out and process them myself. But I bought enough to make this bow, hopefully, sinew backed. So the idea of the shorter bow for me is, and this really by standards of fiberglass bows, is not that short. It's 60 inches tip to tip. I see guys sinew back bows all the time, and they make these little bows and they're pulling them back like 20 inches, okay? Now, I don't want to make a 20-inch bow. I want to make a bow that I could come back, touch anchor, hunt game, shoot a target, and hit a target with. I want to be able to lock down my anchor point and have good form, and I want to be able to hit the target. So I was debating if I should try going to 58 again, or I decided I'll make it 60, just a hair longer. But I'm going to try to flatten this out and then scuff it up so the sinew would adhere to the back. I'm not going to leave it with these rough edges. I want it to be flat, and I want it to adhere really good. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to take a little bit of material off and just get it to bend slightly, and that'll be it for today. So we have it we bent it a little bit past level, and we got our yardstick up, and wow, it's rare that you have a side that's got a beautiful bend, looks like a mirror image. But that's what we have here. We have this beautiful bend going on. And it's 5/8 from the center line. Let's see what we got on this side here. We only have 3/8 on this side. So we got to take the material off all around, back and forth, to get it to bend a lot more. And when we look at it, we got a low spot from here to here. So I'm going to remove a little material from here to here and take off more overall, the whole thing. And then we'll come back. When you take material off of one limb, it changes both limbs, just so you know. We still got a really nice bend going on here. It's 5/8. We got a better bend going on here. It's a 1/2 inch, but we can see where there's some flat spots now. So let's set this up. If you look, you can see from here to here, this is a flat spot. And there's a little bit of a flat spot here too. Okay, we're going to remove off some material and come back. You've seen all of my tillering videos. I have a lot of them. I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And this is going to be more about this short sinew backing on this bow. So I went back and forth 5 times. I'm still having it at that, whatever I have marked here, 14.5 inch mark. And I now have the limbs bending even. So we're going to go down another inch. We're going to check it out. And we got a nice bend. There's nothing really, no flat spots. That's what we're looking for, flat spots. Once again, we want the weight to be distributed on the belly of the bow. We got a nice bend, so there's no uneven stress on the limbs. Another inch. Okay, we got 1 1/16 inches on both. We're going to go down 1 more inch. hard to do this so I can get it on camera. We got 1 1/8 inch. We got 1 1/8 inch. We're going to go down 1 more inch. The micro tillering works. You got to be patient. It takes a while, but then you're able to go down. Level it out a little bit. I'm looking at the riser for the level. And we're almost at the point, where we could put a string on it. And really the idea is for me to put a string on this just to see which side is going to be, which limb is going to be the top limb. When I pull it back, I'll put a string on, just pull it a little bit, see which side it favors. Because what I'd like to do is cut the shelf and the right shelf and shape the grip before I apply the sinew. That's without pulling it back or putting any stress on the wood, just enough to see which way the bow favors. Okay, so we're almost at the point where we're going to put a string on it. I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to look for a string that'll be a shorter brace height. Going through my strings, I believe this might be it. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Maybe I'll twist it a little bit up. And we're going to put a string on this and level it out. Okay, this will be the string I'm going to use. I have a little screw on the side to hold the strings. I'm going to remove this and we're going to string it up. I just want to show you how the string favors one side, but until you put your hand in there, right, and you pull it back, this is the top limb. Okay, it always favors one side. So I know already it's the top limb, but I'm going to just twist it up a little shorter and put it back on. Okay, like I said, this is the first time I'm going to sinew back a bow. And the reason I tilled it was I wanted to find out what side the string was going to favor. This is the top limb. And I know once I sand this roughness off and I lay down sinew and glue, it's going to have to be retillered and like starting fresh again. And I have such a short little brace height, but everything's even on the strings, top limb, bottom limb. It's just a starting point. I just wanted to start off with everything kind of balanced. And I know once I put the glue and sinew on, everything's going to change. But what I'm going to do is cut a shelf and shape the riser. And then this way when I sinew, I could sinew over the contour of the riser. Okay, right, wrong, or indifferent, I shaped the riser. And I took the back, the part that faces away from you, and went flat on the belt sander to take down some material so I'd have a flat back to lay the sinew out. And yes, I'm fully aware that once I put glue and sinew and wrap it, that everything's going to change and be out of whack. But I just wanted a starting point to start with. All right, I wanted to know which limb was the top limb, the bottom limb, and I want to lay the sinew down around this. Okay, so that's the end of this here. I'm cleaning up, going to change, and I'm going to jump in the pool because it's cooking out here.